welcome to a purposeful life where we are living life naturally and spiritually on purpose. So thank you for joining me. And hey, let me just get right to the topic. Let's talk about sugar. Sugar, to me, the most addictive substance that there is. And I was truly addicted to it. I one day really just had a spiritual revelation and knew that I had to give up sugar. That's just how addicted I was to it. And look, one of the best things I can say to anyone who truly wants to give up sugar is that do not beat yourself up. Do it step by step. Now, if you're one of the rare people who can just give it up overnight and not go back to it, kudos to you. However, that was not me. But I did, however, over a 2 to 3 month period, do a gradual regression from sugar. The first thing I had to do was let the sodas go. Now, I did do that cold turkey simply because it was so addictive. And I knew I was that addicted to it. I had to let it go overnight. I could not say, okay, instead of 2 sodas, I'm going to have 1 soda today. That was not going to work for me. For you, it may work. For me, the sodas had to go immediately. And once we realized just how much damage it does to our liver, I think more people would let it go, right? And when you're in the South, like I am, sometimes you will find many people around you who are drinking it. So it does take a lot of willpower. And thank goodness more and more people are coming into the knowledge of, hey, we got to let this go because of the high fructose corn syrup and how much damage it does to our bodies. However, the soda I let go right away. But there were other areas of sugar that I didn't quite let go so fast. And I'm an avid coffee drinker. Every morning I have a cup of coffee. Sometimes 2, but I will have that 1 cup of coffee. And each morning, what I used to do is, along with my vanilla coffee creamer, I would put 5 packs of sugar in my coffee. Yes, you heard me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packs of sugar. So what I decided to do was, okay, I'm going to cut this down to 3 packs. And giving up the sugar in my coffee was like a month-long progression. So for the first week, I went from 5 packs to 3 packs of sugar. And I did that for about a week. And then on the second week, I took a leap and went to 1 pack of sugar. Now, I got to tell you, that hurt. That was pretty painful. I had already given up the soda, so my body realizes I'm cutting back more and more on the sugar. So I started having a few withdrawal symptoms, but I pushed through. The important thing is don't give up, push through, because I promise you, your body will adapt to it. But it's just, it's a little painful while you're going through it. So, the first week I did the 3 packs of sugar in the coffee. The second week I dropped down to 1 pack. And I did that for 2 weeks. So by the 4th week, this is the last week in the month, I said, okay, no sugar in my coffee. I did it. But I did notice something though. So now I'm still tasting a little sweetness because unbeknownst to me, the vanilla coffee creamer it had quite a bit of sugar in it too, which let me know just how much sugar I was consuming. So yes, I eventually let the coffee creamer go too. That took me, honestly, about another month. I had to adjust to that. And I finally got to black coffee. And I can just sprinkle a little cinnamon in it every once in a while, or maybe a little touch of butter, to make me a little more satiated. But yeah, that's how I was able to get off of the raw sugar. But of course, then I became even more educated about sugar and realized that there were a lot of other things I was consuming that had sugar. And the main culprit was bread. I got to tell you, I wasn't happy to hear about that. I'm like, come on. I've given up sugar. I have to give up my bread too. I got to be honest with you all. Giving up the bread, it took about 2 months to get off of what I considered the real sugar, the sodas and the sugar in the coffee. Honestly, to give up bread was like another 3-month venture. Can I just be honest? But I got it done. But this is where the catch comes in. So once you start slowly removing the things that break down into simple sugar, I'm not talking about fruit. I cut back on fruit, but I mean, fruit is a whole food. So the sugar in the fruit, you also get fiber from fruit, and the fruit, the entire body metabolizes it. But the processed sugar, the man-made sugar, that's only processed by the liver, which is why a lot of us develop non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That's something that really happens with people that consume too much man-made sugar. And then that can bring you into prediabetes, diabetes, and that just opens up a whole nother, can of worms. But yeah, so that's how I progressively let the sugar go. So that's my advice, step by step, because you don't want to relapse and go back to the things that you shouldn't eat. But what we're about to do now quickly is show you a treat. How I made a treat, because even though I gave up sugar, there are times when I want to taste something that's sweet because I don't drink sugar anymore. So when I have a taste for something, what do? There are things we can do that we can eat that won't spike our blood sugar and insulin levels so much. So that's what we're going to look into next. Something we can do to help us on this reduction in sugar journey. Okay. It's ready. It's looking so delicious. Okay, let's take a look at our dessert. Look at that. Look at that. You can see the strawberries all underneath. That is gorgeous. Just took it out of the oven. I'm gonna let it sit. I'm gonna try to let it sit for about 10 minutes. Try my best. Okay. Now we're scooping some of this dessert out. You notice I'm putting it in a little container. That's so I won't eat too much of this at once, because when I tell you it's delicious, it is absolutely delicious. As you can see, it has the consistency of a nice, like, bread pudding, right? Of course, we're just not going to put a bunch of syrupy stuff on top. But when I tell you this is delicious, delicious. So, to conclude, that's one of the treats we can make when we just want something really sweet, but we don't want to derail the progress we've made. And this is just one of the segments that we're going to have on Purposeful Life. So hey, join us. We're going to have a lot of exciting topics, not just about sugar or food. There are going to be many topics. And don't forget, subscribe and share it with others. Okay, you guys, have a blessed day. So yes, absolutely delicious. I put some in one of the little containers because, you guys, it's so delicious until I don't want to eat the whole thing. But can I be honest with you? If I were to eat that entire container, it would still have less sugar than one of the candy bars. Isn't that amazing? The entire dish. That's because the flour is gluten-free. It has very few carbs. And the sweetener is monk fruit sweetener. And I have strawberries in. But I'm not going to eat the entire container because I want that dessert to be able to last me for days. But it is delicious. Okay, until next time. Bye.